Pirates of the Caribbean, or is it Caribbean? I feel like I've heard both, but I don't know which is the right way to say it. On Stranger Tides in 3D. This is the fourth Pirates movie and the first of two that were made in 3D. The first three movies were something of a trilogy, however, this one is largely unconnected from those and has a significantly shorter runtime, which is best for stereo. As much as I love 3D, it is not a good choice for a long movie. Even if your eyes are enjoying the experience, they acclimate to it. So what was impressive at the beginning of the movie, a similar scene an hour later, you're so used to that it just doesn't have the same effect. And taking a mid-movie break can help reset the mind and reset the experience and allow the second half to feel just as impressive as the first half. I often insert an intermission for myself. Now, this was filmed in 3D using the camera systems built by James Cameron, or presumably his company. I'm sure he had some help with it. I've come to notice many natively shot 3D films from this time period, which is about 10 years ago now, are heartbreakingly shallow. And compare this with films shot in the 50s on film in 3D, which are very vivid and very captivating and are so easily replicated today and improved upon, but they rarely do that. Instead, there seems to be a desire to make 3D as easy to watch for as many people as possible, which usually means trying to play up to people who don't even want to be there to begin with. And I would prefer they just gave the people who want 3D what they want, because their friends who don't like it, they're going to complain anyway. You can't satisfy negativity, but oh well. Happily, this movie is more of an exception to that. For the most part, this feels like a movie that enjoys being in 3D. It has its shallow scenes, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I feel like this movie wants to work with it and is looking for excuses to show it off. Now, normally I dislike shots that are trying to be wow shots. I find they break the fourth wall when you have something stuck right out in the center of the camera or thrown at it. It just, not only does it rarely look good, but it just, for me, it completely takes me out of the film. Now here, they do that lightly. We have an occasional pose with a jutting out sword that I'm sure only exists here for the benefit of 3D. However, it's played with enough purpose and meaning that the glaring nature of it mixes well with the moment. The first one I noticed, for example, is when we are introduced to a magical connection between Blackbeard and his ship. So a shot that pulls on the movie's reality is very consistent with what we should be experiencing in that moment, a deviation from reality. I enjoyed this movie, though I admit I couldn't quite put my finger on why. This felt like it should be a mess. It should be confusing. It should feel random and disorganized, but it doesn't, and that intrigued me. How is this managing to keep my attention? What is it that is pulling me along? And my suspicion is my brain is treating this experience like a stage show. This is David Copperfield, Penn and Teller, David Blaine perhaps. It's a Houdini act over and over again. I didn't really care where the movie was going, but I was always interested in how Jack is going to get out of this moment. And even the moments of dose machina, but things that come out of nowhere, which normally diminish the movie, here feel more like a divine appointment. His father makes an unlikely appearance, which is a little too convenient, but later you're left wondering if he perhaps was a ghost. Little pushes and nudges and senses of invisible hands pulling it all along. I think one of the lovable things in this Jack character is the childlike presumption of life. He's going to live forever. And I think most people go about their lives with much the same attitude, albeit less dramatically. Death seems to be something that we really have to learn, well, the hard way. Is there any other way to learn? It's something that we really have to have our face rubbed in to really get that it's a real thing. Left to our own devices, I just sense the mind likes to gravitate toward believing that there's always going to be a way out. There's always tomorrow.